I am thrilled that Roger Stone has agreed to join us on the radio this morning. First of all, Roger wears many hats. That's what you should see, the hat closet in his apartment, which I've actually seen. It's remarkable. He is a longtime political consultant going back to the Nixon campaign. He is a New York Times best-selling author. By the way, if you ever hear that Roger Stone is writing a book about you, it's probably a good time to leave the country, because whether it's the Clintons' war on women, whether it's Jeb and the history of the Bush crime family, whether it's the man who killed Kennedy, LBJ, whoa. Roger, I don't know how he finds these things out about people, but he's got these sources from all over and this incredible research team. And you can check a lot of this out at stonezone.com. A lot of great political commentary on there as well. He's also a longtime advisor and friend of Donald Trump. I'm very, very curious to get his take on the state of the presidential race as it stands now. Roger, happy Monday. Good morning.
Excellent, Frank. Great to be with you.
First of all, everybody, you're now, I didn't think you could be more of a villain in the mainstream media than Donald Trump, but apparently you are over your Khan comments. Now, I am amazed that instead of blaming Hillary Clinton for the death of Captain Khan because she voted for this awful war in Iraq, which Donald Trump opposed, everybody seems to be making first Donald Trump responsible for his death, and now you, because you're pointing out that, hey, maybe the Khan family, at least the parents, aren't as angelic and heroic as the media is trying to portray. Tell us what the real deal is here.
Well,
Robert.
First of all, like all Americans, I honor their son's service and his sacrifice, but I do think it is ironic that Captain Khan died in an unconstitutional war supported by Hillary Clinton, not Donald Trump. Secondarily, in all honesty, Mr. Khan is being used to attack Donald Trump, but his son's tragic death is being used as a shield. If you look at Mr. Khan's background, he is an advocate for Sharia. Sharia law oppresses women, oppresses gays, kills Christians. This is a violent, oppressive ideology, which Mr. Khan very clearly shares. He is tied to the Muslim Brotherhood. He is tied to the same sect of the Muslim Brotherhood as Huma Abedin. I'm suggesting that he has an agenda, and Trump is absolutely right when he points out the mother had little to say, while the father is an advocate of Sharia, the law under which women have little to say. So Trump is actually correct here.
Well, so Donald Trump was on ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos, and he was asked about the wife. This is what he said.
If you look at his wife, she was standing there. She had nothing to say. Maybe she wasn't allowed to have anything to say. You tell me.
Now, the reality of the situation is, Roger, in countries where they take Sharia law seriously, countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, Kuwait, even our supposed allies, women are second-class citizens. So you put this woman out there as basically a political prop. I shame on the Clinton campaign and the DNC for using them in this way. And it's all of a sudden Trump's the one who's un-American for questioning it? I thought it was a perfectly legitimate question.
Yeah, well, the point, of course, is that Mr. Khan is not just an advocate. He's written very extensively and worked very hard to initiate Sharia law. This is all on the public record. But I think that in the next 24 hours, you'll get a greater perspective on this. It was a hit job on Trump. Mr. Khan's a little too smooth. Yes, we all recognize the sacrifice that their son made, but at the same time, there's nothing unconstitutional about Trump's proposal to ban Muslims on a temporary basis. By statute, the president has the power to ban any group that he deems to be dangerous to the public safety, and to do so for as long a period of time as he deems proper. That's the law. Now, you could challenge the constitutionality, but illegal immigrants entering the country have no constitutional rights. They're not U.S. citizens. There aren't any constitutional issues here. Unlike the Iraq War, which needed the approval of Congress to be constitutional and which was never received.
Now, let me ask you about Russia, Roger. It's funny. Everybody always tries, and we're talking with Roger Stone. You can check him out at stonezone.com. A whole world opens up. A lot of people always portray you as a conspiracy theorist because you've tried to expose a lot of things about the Kennedy assassination that were not out there before and some other very, very well-known conspiracies over the years. But I am listening to the Democrats, instead of addressing what the DNC did to Bernie Sanders, they're saying, oh, well, this is just Vladimir Putin and the Russians trying to throw the election towards Donald Trump. That seems a pretty far-fetched theory from what I can see, Roger.
Well, but Frank, maybe not. Maybe the Russians are acting in their own best interest in this sense. It is the policies of Clinton and Obama that have brought us right now to the brink of nuclear war and the coldest relationship we've had with the Russians in decades. Trump would like to, I think, enter a period of détente in which we use hard-headed negotiations to get a peace agreement with the Soviets so that we could work together to pursue and destroy ISIS, which, frankly, they're doing a better job of at this point than we are. Hillary Clinton is a neocon. And so I suspect Putin has sized up both candidates. And my guess is that Mr. Putin would like to negotiate with somebody who keeps their word, who can be trusted to keep their word. He knows Hillary is a liar. He knows that she's a neocon. He knows that many of her major donors have a financial interest in war. So Donald Trump is not only the law and order candidate, he's also the peace candidate. The McCarthyism that he is being attacked with, this idea that he is in league with Putin, please, he's never met Putin, but Hillary and Bill have taken millions of dollars from the oligarchs around Clinton in order to deliver preferential treatment on a number of very lucrative decisions at the State Department.
And, you know, a lot of folks are now, including the front page of the New York Times today, are trying to imply that your former partner, Paul Manafort, who is now the campaign chairman of Donald Trump's presidential campaign, because he used to work for the former president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych, and because he has other ties to people that are seen as pro-Putin business interests, that Manafort is the one drifting Trump towards a pro-Putin position. Any truth to that at all, Roger?
None whatsoever. Trump has talked all along about negotiations and peace. It is Donald Trump that sets the pace for his campaign. Paul Manafort does not work for Putin, has never worked for Putin. His candidate crossed Putin in Ukraine. So this is more McCarthyism. Trump has always been in favor of lessening the current tensions that we have. At the same time, they bastardize his remarks when he says that Putin is not going into Ukraine. What he means is under a Trump presidency. In other words, they've already got Crimea. But they will go no further into Ukraine. Trump would be a hard guy to negotiate with, but peace is possible. I think in Trump, Putin sees the potential that Trump also sees. Reagan-Gorbachev type agreements that make this a safer world.
Now, we're also seeing a lot of prominent Republicans nationally criticize Donald Trump for his Khan comments. Not only Democrats, but now we're seeing former Republican presidential nominee John McCain, who's up for re-election this year, unload mercilessly on Donald Trump today.
Yeah, look, John McCain just took $10 million from the Saudis for his foundation. John McCain may or may not be aware of Mr. Khan's connections to Saudi jihadis. They are indisputable. This guy is not just a Muslim parent, aggrieved as he may be, but he is also affiliated with a number of radical organizations that are directly affiliated with terrorist activities. That is a fact. I understand facts are often hard things to swallow. This issue has the potential to backfire badly on McCain, and cost him his upcoming U.S. Senate primary. Mr. Khan is not as pure as the driven snow, but it is not incidental that McCain also rose to the defense of Huma Abedin. If you'll read any of the three pieces I've now written for Breitbart, Huma Abedin is most likely the Saudi handler for Hillary. She is clearly tied to the Muslim Brotherhood's World Muslim League, which is in turn tied to the Rabitha Trust, which was identified by the Department of Justice as one of the funders for bin Laden in the attacks of 9/11. Wow, how politically incorrect. I just said all that. Those are facts, folks. There's no McCarthyite conjecture here. These things are all indisputable. So I think McCain is playing a dangerous game, and with the $10 million he just took from the Saudis, why would he criticize Mr. Khan, who is connected to the Saudis himself?
Final question, Roger. I know you don't have any formal role with the campaign, but I know you're in touch with a lot of the folks that do, and even possibly you with Mr. Trump himself. There was a report today in one of the papers that there is a dispute about campaign strategy, that several of the campaign leadership wanted to kind of throw in the towel in New York and just focus on the battleground states, and that Trump overruled them and decided, no, we're going to focus on New York. One, what do you think of the wisdom of focusing on New York? And two, is that report true that there is a conflict in terms of campaign strategy, in terms of where to focus?
First of all, why would anybody at the campaign telegraph the Clinton people about where you intend to focus?
Right.
Number one.
That makes sense.
Number two, you'll never know whether New York is a full-fledged effort or a head fake until it's too late. Frankly, Trump has great potential in the state of New York. I think he could conceivably win here. But let's not lose sight of the fact that it is the bluest of blue states, and it's uphill. But I wouldn't write it off. On the other hand, I think the target list has to have some flexibility, because Trump may be competitive in places where other Republicans have not been, such as Michigan. It is interesting that so many say, well, the fact that Pennsylvania is one of the states that Trump must win shows the weakness of his candidacy. Well, that's the exact same thing, by the way, they said about McCain and Romney, that Pennsylvania was in play for both of them. If you go back and look, they both made major multi-million-dollar attempts there and failed. So the map is going to remain somewhat fluid, but I'm unaware of those discussions. I can't see Donald ever writing off, the Empire State. He's got too much of a sentimental attachment.
Roger Stone, thank you very, very much. We'll be watching you on StoneZone.com and checking in with you throughout the campaign.
Take care. Thank you.
This is the John Gambling Show on AM 970 The Answer.